Here's everything you need to know about the foreclosure process, what it is, how it works, how long it takes, and what are your options as a homeowner. My name is Sam Boyd. I'm a realtor here in Brevard County, and I specialize in helping people that are in pre-foreclosure. First, I need you to understand that if you're a homeowner, you've missed payments, or you're anywhere along this process, that you do have options. However, you need to act quickly because every day that passes, those options start to dwindle. You want to avoid a foreclosure at all costs. What's gonna happen is your credit's gonna get wrecked, you won't be able to buy another home for 7 years, and the bank or whoever the lien holder is gonna come in, take any equity that you had, and leave you with no money and no home. I am here to make sure that that doesn't happen, so here we go. Foreclosure is the legal process by which the lien holder, which is typically the bank, but could also be the HOA association or a contractor, seeks to take judgment on the home due to the borrower's inability to make payments. Florida is a judicial foreclosure state, which means that the lien holder needs to go through the judicial legal process in order to foreclose upon a property. This involves filing a lawsuit, obtaining evidence, and getting a court order to proceed with the judgment. Key point, they can't just take your home without going through this process. And the process generally looks like this. When you fail to make payments for 30 days, the lender is going to send you a notice of default letting you know that you're late. They're also going to inform you of your right to cure this, typically within 30 days. This is the period in which you can still fix this. Reach out to the lender, communicate with them, ask for a forbearance or a loan modification agreement. And again, I want to emphasize, reach out to them, call the office, call the lender, get in touch with whoever you need to get in touch with, because listen, they are not in the business of foreclosing on homes. They're in the business of lending money, so they generally want to work with you too, and they're only going through this as a last resort. Anyways, we're at 60 days, notice of default. They will still typically give you 90 days to cure this. Again, with a forbearance agreement, a loan modification, or you could sell the home. Again, these options are with the lender. After 150 days, the lis pendens is going to be filed. This is the first time that this information is made public. We have now transitioned from you can really do something about this to, hey, we want the whole loan amount due in full right now. Typically hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? You will now typically be served with a complaint and a summons and a deadline to respond, typically 20 days. Very important, you have 20 days to respond, either by writing a response to the allegations or contesting the foreclosure. This is really where you're gonna want legal representation if you don't have it already. If you don't know where to go, give me a call. I've got some people in Brevard County. Last time I'm gonna say it, 20 days, very important. If you don't respond, the lender can request a judgment by default, essentially winning the case by default. Otherwise, if you or your attorney files a valid response to the complaint, the foreclosure moves into the discovery phase. This is where parties exchange information and gather evidence for the argument. This can last anywhere from 1 to 6 months depending on the complexity of the case and the court's schedule. I want to be honest with you, at this point, it's probably too late to work anything out with the lender, and your best option is probably going to be to sell the property. And this is because at this point, your best option is probably still to just get whatever equity that you have in the house after all of the payments you've made, all the appreciation that your home has hopefully seen, any improvements that you've done, and actually get rewarded, get paid for that, and get out from under it, save your credit, just get some money out of this thing. Because again, the other option is the bank takes all of that and they leave you with nothing. So let's not have that happen. To see if a traditional sale is even possible for your property, you need to have enough equity to satisfy the debts. At this point, you want to reach out to a local listing agent, ideally one that specializes in pre-foreclosure situations, and get them to run you a net sheet. It looks like this. The realtor is going to give you their best valuation of the property, subtract out the remaining loan balance, brokerage fees, late fees, closing costs, etc., and tell you what you can expect to net on the sale of the home. If the sale of the home is expected to net a negative amount, you're gonna have to do what's called a short sale, which I'm not even gonna get into here. Basically, you're gonna wanna get as much for the sale as possible, as fast as possible, which means you can't afford to overprice. You should get to work on cleaning out the house, making any repairs you have to do, and get it as showing ready and presentable as possible, as soon as possible. Okay, back to the timeline. Once the discovery phase ends, again, we're 1 to 6 months here, the lender will typically file a motion for a summary judgment or set a case for trial. The summary judgment seeks the ruling in the lender's favor without having to go to trial. If the court agrees with the lender, a final foreclosure judgment is entered and a sale date is set for the property. This is going to be typically 20 to 30 days after the judgment. Otherwise, if the case goes to trial, both parties will present their evidence, standard court stuff, and the judge will make a ruling. So lots of things can happen here, but again, if the lender wins the case, a final judgment of foreclosure is also going to be issued, and then they're going to set a date for sale. The actual sale is held at an auction at your county's clerk of courts. The highest bidder is going to receive a certificate of sale and then ultimately the certificate of title ownership of the property. Once this happens, if you're still in the home, the new owner can initiate the eviction process to physically remove you from the property. The eviction process in Florida usually takes anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. Hopefully you figured something out long before this even comes a remote possibility. I hope you found this helpful. If you're going through this process, I know it's extremely stressful and overwhelming and you're going through a lot. I wish you the best, and you got this. Like I said, you have options, and if you have any questions or you just want to reach out, see what your options are, just explain your situation to somebody. Seriously, I'm here. Text or call me anytime.